So the last type of problem we're going to experience is one with a coefficient that's a fraction. So we're going to do the same process we had done before. We're going to undo this inequality by doing the opposite of a positive 4, which is take 4 away from both sides. So when we see the same sign, again, the rule is that we add when we have the same sign. So we bring down that 2/3 x, bring down the inequality sign, subtracting from negatives gives us more negatives, so we're going to end up adding those numbers and getting -6. So from this point, we're ready to get rid of that fraction. We're going to do it all in one step. Very similar to what we did on the last problem where we multiplied by the denominator. Well, here we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. And that will cancel out the 3 and the 2. So the 2 and the 2's will cancel, the 3's will cancel, leaving us only with x. But again, just like the other problems, what we do to one side, we must do the same to the other. So treat that -6 as -6/1, so you can see the cross-canceling that occurs. So you see how that 2 is going to cancel out that -6, changing it to a -3. And so then we go ahead and multiply across and see what's left over. We still have this x. It's still greater than, and it's greater than because we multiplied by a positive. Even though the constant was negative, we multiplied by a positive number, leaving us with just -9. So the only time we're going to switch the inequality sign is if this number here that's next to x, the coefficient, is negative. Then we'll turn the inequality sign around. But for now, we're ready to graph -9 in the center because that's our endpoint. The smaller number, well, actually this is the larger number, -8. The smaller number, -10. On the left-hand side, and then we go ahead and put the correct type of circle on the -9. It's an open circle again, and the values of x have to be greater than -9. So greater means to the right. Well, one last problem. We'll try one more like that. We'll call this one number 8, and we'll say this time we have a -3/5 x. -3/5 x, and then -2 is greater than or equal to 4. So we have the same process as before. We're trying to isolate the variable, so we need to move this -2 over. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. Once we've done that, we've now isolated the variable, but we still have a coefficient of -3/5 that we're going to end up having to remove. So -3/5 x is greater than or equal to +6. So now we want to get rid of not only a 3/5 but a negative sign as well. So we're going to end up multiplying both sides by the reciprocal of the coefficient. Now it doesn't matter where that negative sign goes as long as it's there, because the negatives will cancel, the 5's will cancel, the 3's will cancel, and all we have left is x. On this side, treat 6 as a fraction, put it over 1, and multiply by -5/3. So you can see how the 3 goes into that 6 2 times, leaving us with a 2 times -5. And we can go ahead and multiply those two numbers, and we end up with -10. We bring down the x, but what kind of inequality sign should we bring down? Well, remember, when we multiply by a negative, the bigger numbers become smaller, the smaller numbers become bigger, so we have to switch the inequality sign around. So x is less than or equal to -10. Well, we'll go ahead and put -10 in the center. We We have the bigger number, negative 9, to the right, smaller number, negative 11, to the left, and now we've got a different type of circle than before. Had one earlier, but not for quite some time. So this isn't or equal to, less than or equal to. X is less than or equal to negative 10. So it's a filled-in circle showing that negative 10 is one of the solutions, but being less than means that it goes to the left. So those are the smaller numbers x can be. So x has to be smaller than or equal to negative 10. Well, that's solving two-step inequalities. The next lesson will bring us to solving multi-step inequalities on day 21.